You want to guarantee your spot on Mom's good list this Mother's Day? Stick around until the end of this video for a special deal on the Mother's Day gift of the year from Aura Frames. Some people just don't know when to quit. And actually, now that I'm saying it, now that I just said that, I think that might even apply to me. Because although I'm talking about KRISTI Noem and her not quitting this book tour, walking into a bandsaw, even on conservative outlets, it also applies to me because I've done multiple videos about her and this book and her murdering puppies and her claims of being in meetings with Kim Jong-un. And no one watches those videos. Or 50,000 or fewer of you watch each one of those videos. So I'm not giving it up. I think this is important because, one, she is on a list, short as it might be or long as it might be, of Donald Trump's picks to be vice president of the United States. This is the caliber, this is the depth of the bench of the Republican Party that she tops a list. She has made a list of people to be considered to be vice president of the United States. I also have what a congressman from North Carolina posted on Twitter of her. He's putting it out there as her reading the book. I haven't verified it, so I'm deciding whether I'm going to play it. While I'm recording right now, I'll decide, and it'll be at the end. But first, I'm going to start with the bandsaw that she is walking into, even on conservative networks. I think the die is cast, and they have decided collectively that she's not the one they want to back, and they are actively sabotaging her attempt to be vice president. And I say that because they're hitting her hard. This first clip is Stuart Varney on Fox Business interviewing her and really going at it. Did Donald Trump, when you met him, mention the dog? Did you mention you murdering this dog? And she starts chastising him. What does she say? She says, enough, Stuart. This interview is ridiculous. What are you doing right now? You need to stop. She can't catch a break even on the Fox News family of networks. Watch this.
Still think that you are in line to be Trump's vice president?
No, it's up to Donald Trump. He's the only person who will decide this. He's the only person who will decide. And I spoke. Yes, I do speak to him.
May I ask what he said to you about being vice president?
No, I never tell anybody my personal conversations with
Did the dog story
President
come up
Trump.
In a conversation with
Trump? I talk to President Trump all the time.
About the dog?
About a lot of things. And right now, I tell you what, he is being persecuted in a political witch hunt in this court case. So I'm proud of him about how tough he is and how well he is doing.
Did you bring up the dog?
Yes, enough, Stuart.
Did you
this interview is ridiculous, what you were doing right now. So you need to stop. It is.
Okay.
It is. Let's talk about some real topics that Americans care about.
I'm afraid we're out of time.
Oh, well, of course we are.
We do thank you for being with us. Right. I know I pressed hard, but that's what people are talking about to this day.
Yeah.
Governor Noem, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
We'll be back in just a moment with the opening bell from here.
It's just a bad day for KRISTI Noem. Got worse, though. Here she is on Newsmax with Finnerty, whatever this goof's name is, Rob Finnerty, not Scott. That's another guy, Scott Schmidt. And they're really going hard on her, not giving her any chance to elude the question, to avoid the question, to not ask the simple specifics of whether or not she met with Kim Jong-un, which is an audacious lie, an out of this world, even in Trump world and today's Republican Party. It is aggressive to make a claim that as governor of a small populated state that you would meet with in some diplomatic fashion the leader, the dictator, the murderous genocidal maniac, Kim Jong-un.
I agree with you there, but going back to what you said a moment ago, maybe not lying to the American people. And I think this is important to talk about because the book's called No Going Back, The Truth on What's Wrong with Politics. And I think part of the problem with politics today is that politicians aren't honest with the American people. So if you asked me a month ago, who's at the top of the list to run with Donald Trump, I would have said your name. If you asked me that same question this morning, I don't even think you're on the list.
Really?
So my question for you,
is that?
yes, really, and it's because of things that have come out in this book, like your claims that you met Kim Jong-un, and then over the last week,
I've been to the DMZ. I've been to the area. What I've said
is that... Did you stare down Kim Jong-un? Let me, Governor, 1 second. I will give you an opportunity to respond. I just want to get this out there. So here's the quote from the book. You say that, I remember when I met North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, I'm sure he underestimated me, having no clue about my experience staring down little tyrants. Governor, that never happened, did it?
What I have said in the book is that when I became aware of the content, that we had it changed. And that's the way that it is. So I should not have put that anecdote in the book. I'm not going to talk about my meetings.
But an anecdote indicates that it happened, right?
I'm not going to talk about my conversations with world leaders. I've been involved in policy for 30 years. For 30 years, I've been traveling the world, talking to world leaders. And that is a conversation that I'm not going to have in this book. So I've answered that in interviews already. I've been very forthright, and I think that a typical politician wouldn't be that honest. As soon as it became to my attention, I asked for the content to be changed, and it has been.
Governor, I'm not asking you about the details of this alleged meeting. I'm asking if the meeting actually happened. I don't think it did, and I think if it did, you'd be able to confirm for me that yes, it did, and here's when it happened. It happened, say, at such and such a date or a month, or you don't have to be specific.
I'm not going to talk about my conversations.
You're going to continue to have to answer this question then.
I don't think so, because the average American citizen is more worried about the border. They're more worried about what we see in a White House and a president that since January has gone out there and misled the American people over 150 times, and nobody pushes him on what he says, that he was imprisoned with Nelson Mandela, that he drove an 18-wheeler, that his uncle was eaten by cannibals, that he started the civil rights movement. There is a hypocrisy in the media today, and I would like to see that the American people know and recognize the difference, that they want leaders who actually will go forward and give them a way that they can elect people who want to represent them and fight for them.
Governor, that's a very good point, and I'm not deliberately trying to be adversarial. Donald Trump winning in November is very important.
Yes, it is.
And I think that whoever he chooses to be his running mate, and again, I think at one point you were at the top of that list, but you're going to get questions a lot more difficult than that.
The thing that's very interesting to me is the only person who will decide is Donald Trump. He will decide, and he knows that I think he should pick the person that will help him win. That is my one parameter. When he was in the White House, I was on offense every day. I got to solve problems for the people of South Dakota. I got to, think out of the box and be innovative. Now with Joe Biden in the White House, all I am is on defense. So I will tell you that the one thing that President Trump knows for a fact is that I want him to win, and that I want him to pick the person that will help him win, because America needs him back in the White House.
You seem surprised when Rob said that he didn't see you on the short list anymore. Are you still on that short list? Have you talked to him about being his vice president?
I talked to President Trump a lot. I talked to him a lot, and I think the world of him, and he knows that, and I've always supported him.
That's brutal. By any account, by any objective metric, that was brutal. When your ally in politics is telling you, I don't believe it happened. I don't believe you. And her answer is not, no, I did meet with him. It's, I've been to the DMZ. A lot of people have been to the DMZ. It doesn't mean you met with Kim Jong-un, you insane liar. Also, I've been involved in policy for 30 years. You're the governor of South Dakota. International policy and diplomacy is not your bag, lady, nor is pet ownership, but we'll save that for another time. And I've decided, because I can't verify the audio that was posted by Congressman Wiley or Willie, that I'm not going to play that. So maybe tomorrow will be another video nobody watches. I invite your participation in this conversation, though. What do you think? You leave a comment below. We can talk about it there. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I would love to hear from you on this. If you want to help support my work, click the join button below. See what's involved to become a channel member. $2 a month. Go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Same deal, $2 a month. And another way to support this channel is stick around, prepare for Mother's Day, and check out this offer from today's sponsor. Whether or not it's obvious in your family, Mother's Day is a competition. Who can give the best gift to mom? Don't delude yourself. If you can buy crappy convenience store chocolates again, they will be held against you. And it'll be in the court of maternal opinion. Get a leg up on the competition this Mother's Day and give your mom, your wife, your sister an Aura frame. Aura frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. The frames just take a couple of minutes to set up via the Aura app, and the displays are meticulously high resolution, so mothers in your life will never even think that they're looking at a screen. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com. Use code Dollemore at checkout to save. Aura frames display in true color and automatically adjust to light levels, so they'll turn off when you turn out the lights to save energy. And they have been featured in more than 130 different gift guides as well. They've been named the #1 digital picture frames by the New York Times Wirecutter, The Strategist, and Wired Magazine. Oh, and the best part, each Aura frames comes prepackaged in a premium gift box, so they're already wrapped. Here's a tip for a head start on Mother's Day 2025. What's better than one Aura frame? Haha, 2. Head to auraframes.com now to get $35 off their best-selling Carver matte frame plus free shipping. That's auraframes.com and use code Dollemore at checkout. Take the prize of son, sibling, or husband of the year by purchasing Aura frames for the mothers in your life. Terms and conditions apply.